Brought to you by Nottinghamshire Live.
Hello, welcome to Garibaldi Red. Not sure what to say. We're half an hour after the final whistle at Fulham as Forest won 1-0. Incredible result, incredible performance. Bournemouth fought back, 3-3 at Swansea, which is a bit of a shame, but it sets up this incredible finish to the season. What a night. Michael Temple, thanks for joining me. How are you feeling?
Pleasure, Matt. Yeah, we just had an interesting chat, didn't we, about the aspirations of this Forest side as the season's progressed, from questions about whether we're concerned about relegation to whether we can consolidate. And now we find ourselves in this position where you could almost say it's in our own hands because of the game against Bournemouth. But I didn't see that coming. I said a couple of days ago, didn't we, about Fulham being the class act in the division. But we've gone there and done a job.
Live on YouTube, and obviously we'll put this out as a podcast on Facebook and iTunes. But if you're watching, do drop some comments in. We'll put some on. Tim Murphy says, I was saying, I've got 0 nails left. Can't believe Swansea. And obviously lots of praise for the boys in general. It felt like a playoff night to me, Temps. I mean, just the nerves at the end. I was flicking Bournemouth's Twitter account as well to see if they get a fourth goal, which would be mental. But I mean, just the nerve jangling in general, wasn't it?
Yeah, we found ourselves watching both games, didn't we? Those that watched the broadcast obviously saw the interjections when there were goals in the Swansea Bournemouth game, and then at one point in the night the gap was 2. As it happens, I don't think that makes a massive difference. Really, there'll be an eye on goal difference now, but I think it's on. I'm looking at Bournemouth's remaining fixtures. Not only have they got us to play, they go away to Blackburn at the weekend as well, and that's no easy place to go. So yeah, look, a tense night, one that could have all but ended our hopes of automatic promotion, but it's done nothing but boost that chance. And I think every Forest fan in the land is beaming from ear to ear like I am at the minute.
One change for Forest, and I think you kind of hinted at it in the podcast on Monday with Frank Clark when you were able to get a word in. Good old Frank, a wonderful guest. What a great guy. He talked over you a little bit, but I can't fault him for everything he's done for the club. We'll let him talk over you as much as he wants, frankly. You said about Steve Cook coming back in. It was inevitable at some point. He came back in tonight, and no slight on Figueiredo, but Cook, and I mean, everyone in general was tremendous, but you could see the influence of Cook, couldn't you?
Yeah, that back three. I mean, if they'd been together all season, we've probably been 9 points on from where we are now. And they've all had spells out of the side at various points. So, yeah, I repeat what I said about Figueiredo. He can feel a little bit hard done to because he's been solid enough despite those couple of high-profile mistakes. But I think Cook belongs in the best 11. As well as his play, he's a leader. He's got Premier League experience, all the qualities that we saw tonight. And I think this is credit to Cooper and the team that when a player comes back into the side or indeed features from the bench, they do seem ready. They don't seem to lack that sharpness. I'd make the same point about Cafu and Lolly when they've come back in as well. But yeah, when we all saw Cook in for Figueiredo, I think everybody felt the same. Confidence in Figs if he's needed between now and the end of the season. But great to have Cook back because his influence is a positive thing.
The way Forest went about the game was really interesting because they played such a high press, and there is an element of risk to that because good teams can pick you off. And I thought Fulham were really good, and Seri's a quality player. But Forest set a tone there, didn't they? And I don't think Tim Reams used to be impressed. He had a bit of a nightmare. That aggressive play by Forest. It was brave, but it was very good, wasn't it? First half.
Tim Ream looked slow, didn't he? And Forest clearly had an eye on that and tried to exploit it. The interesting thing that I heard from Cooper in the post-match was about his pleasure at what he saw when we didn't have the ball, and that solidity, the manner in which at times we dropped off, let them have the ball, and were prepared to play on the break. And yeah, it's something I don't give too much thought to. We always look at the setup and how we're going to go forward and how certain positions and players in certain spots affect that. But yeah, a huge part of the game being without the ball. We've had 25% possession tonight and found a way to win the game by turning them round, by getting the ball in behind, by playing on the break, and yeah, like tactical masterstroke from Cooper, and yeah, I just think he got that so right, didn't he? We were comfortable without the ball. We've shut down Mitrovic, the deadliest striker in the division, by quite a distance. So yeah, credit for what he's done there in the setup.
Yeah, I suppose Cooper got a bit of a secondary assist on the goal by giving it back to Surrey to take the throw in, which annoyed Fulham. We'll come on to that in a minute. But what was your take on the goal? A great opportunism, I suppose, by Zinchenko not to give it up.
Yeah, that's what it is, isn't it? It's opportunism and quick thinking, and brilliant that Cooper had a role in that, and sped up the return of the ball. But yeah, like chance favours the mind that is prepared, and Zinchenko turned that situation into a goal. That massive credit to him. Fulham, they'll deconstruct that in detail, I'm sure, and they know they should have done better. But who cares? It was in our favour, and I love that. Sometimes better to be lucky and good. But if you can be both, and you drive that through effort and not giving up and resilience, and springing back from a bad moment, and I just feel like all of those things are happening for us at the minute, and it happened for Zinc tonight.
Lots of people watching along. Mikey Clark is watching on his sofa. I did say he could come on, but he's been on the wine, so he's watching us on the big screen. And Greg Mitchell sent us a message to say he's broken. He's in Fulham.
I'd imagine Greg's got no voice left.
Yeah, we couldn't have Greg on.
He can only text. He can't call, and he can't come on for a natter. But he's got plenty to say on WhatsApp. But yeah, how good were the Forest fans tonight?
I know. Fantastic. Yeah, the noise was constant. I think that does make a difference. What were Fulham complaining about for the goal? Was it Cooper being out of his technical area, or what? I couldn't see what the moment was. Or they should have just been embarrassed a bit, really, shouldn't they?
They play at high intensity, Fulham, don't they? And a lot of players who are very comfortable on the ball. They know they're going to have a lot of possession, and that the manner in which they retain it in and around the box and try and wait for that chance and get down the sides is impressive. So I think, part of their intensity is that frustration. They're not used to losing. They've outscored everybody else in the division by more than 30 goals. So a bit of frustration, but you can't complain about things like that. It's part and parcel of football, and I won't cry too many tears for Fulham.
No. A couple of people say Mikey should come on. Why not? That's Jake, who is Mikey's nephew, who's in a fancy league group. I'm in saying Mike should come on.
I agree.
I don't know if I do. I don't know what he'd say. We'll probably leave it just us on reflection. Second half, Forest, I was sort of thought they rode their luck in a sense, because the amount of balls that were in the box, and it only takes one flick the wrong way and ball can drop unluckily. But similarly, you earn that luck, don't you? And the way Forest were so organised and committed, and Samba behind them, we'll come on to. But defensively, I think they deserved to win, didn't they, on the balance of play?
Well, not looking at the stats in a sense that they've won a game without the ball, which isn't our way. And if we genuinely did think man for man we could match up better than the Oppo, then we would try and wear them down in the way that we do, and the wide boys would come into it more and more as the game went on, and the opposition shape was broken. So I don't think Fulham were particularly poor, other than the fact that they come up against a formidable back three there, and I think the broadcasters gave Cook man of the match. Could have been any one of the three. The solidity, the hunting in packs, just not giving them a sniff. That physical battle with Mitrovic, who knows every trick, doesn't he? That header that he missed, which Samba got the hand on, he only got ahead of his man by having two hands around his waist and giving him a judo throw off balance. So so much. That's a clean sheet they've scrapped for there. And if they're not sat at Craven Cottage now, sharing a beer and reflecting on a job well done, then they're doing it wrong. I thought they were just immense, the three centre halves tonight.
Yeah, Mitrovic is good. You can see he's good at that level. And Seri, and who I mentioned, and Wilson was really good. But then Forest, they dug in. I mean, it's interesting what you say there about they didn't go about it their normal way and go toe to toe with them. But in this way, that's a positive, isn't it? Because I think teams like Fulham can probably only win one way, and I think that's why they'll struggle in the Premier League next season. But I think Forest, they've shown they can win different ways. They can win on the counter. They can win by dominating the ball and getting very much ahead of ourselves. They do go off. I think that's why Forest could stay up. But it's a strength of Cooper's, isn't it, to win 4, 5, 6 different ways.
Yeah, credit to Cooper. We're seeing tactical nous on another level there, and being happy to play on the break. And I think if we'd have converted that Surridge chance where we sprang the counter, the quality of that pass from Brennan Johnson to the back stick was next level. And given what Surridge has done to this point to show his prowess as a one-touch finisher, you'd back him to bag. So yeah, if that goal had been converted, ifs, buts, and maybes, I know, but you're praising Cooper for almost taunting Fulham, letting them have the ball, being effective, draw them on, spring the trap, and make the difference. So yeah, I was out on my seat when that ball went across. I was certain Surridge was going to convert it, but yeah, tactically superb tonight.
What do you make of Surridge? I thought he was very good, especially first half. It's a tough job. He was, up against 2 centre halves and trying to occupy a back four. He's not the quickest. I think we saw that tonight, but his general hold-up play and his creativity was, even if his finish wasn't quite there, the rest of his game was there tonight, wasn't it?
Yeah, I called him Plan C a couple of days ago. I think he's Plan B now. I think even with a fit Lewis Grabban, Surridge gets more minutes because of how sharp he looks, his goal scoring record, and his work for the team. He's a grafter, isn't he? So yeah, tremendously impressed. I think that he could be a game breaker at Championship level, and you wonder if he'd have been in this side all year, if he could have been a 20 goal man. Maybe a bit of a stretch, but he's far more of a player than I perhaps perceived when he arrived, and I feel that he's won the Forest fans over very quickly, and deservedly so, because he's put in a shift tonight, and but for that miss at the back stick, credit the keeper as well. He was very brave, wasn't he, and got to where he needed to be. I think Surridge is a weapon in the Championship.
Got to wrap him in cotton wool now, haven't they? I mean, took him off with 15 minutes to go, and interestingly put Brennan Moore through the middle, which we discussed with Frank yesterday. Feels like a long time ago. I suppose that's the danger now. If Zinchenko went off injured, Colback hobbles off. Is that the biggest concern as much of anything for Forest at the moment?
Yeah, nervous weight on those boys, Matt, and the physio will be very busy this week, because if he didn't have enough on with Keenan's rehab and trying to nurse Lewis Grabban's hamstring, but no one's let us down there. Laria's untested, Cafu limited compared to the starters, but he looks fit and agile, doesn't he? And he gets about the pitch very well. Colback, I'd be more concerned if he was unavailable. I wouldn't even want to rest him if we could help it. I just think he's become a real beacon of quality on the left side. But yeah, it is a concern. Of course, our chances of closing out this season are better with the first choice players available, and you do worry. We've had a lot of energy invested in the last few games, and we're seeing the toll that's putting on the squad at the minute. Again, post match, Cooper said our changing room is knackered, and you can see it. He's asking boys to dig deep. He's not rotating. He's trying to keep faith with his best 11, but the risk of that is muscle injuries in particular, playing with tired legs, and it's kind of bearing out, isn't it? And we'll need a lot of luck and a bit of overtime from the Fizz if we're gonna turn out our best side next game.
It's interesting. Loré is getting a taste of it now, isn't he? Which is quite useful, I think. And he has looked fairly bright when he's come on as well. That's a bonus as much of anything, isn't it?
My instinct with the shape today is he has to play right side. They clearly don't feel he could be as impactful left-hand side. So if for Jed Spence to have to shift, if Laria is the answer and Jed Spence goes left side in the absence of Colback, I think that does weaken us quite considerably. I haven't seen enough of Laria. I'm going to say he's untested, unproven. Rather than an insufficient understudy to Jed Spence, but yeah, it feels like a bit of a compromise to put Jed left hand side when he's just walked into the Championship Team of the Year on the right, and we're talking about him as a potential Premier League target next season. So yeah, I'd like to see a bit more from him. He's clearly one of the next cabs off the rank in Cooper's eyes. But yeah, it's not plan A to blood him at this stage of the season.
No, I've moved rooms. My wife's come in and wanted to put the kettle on. So to maintain domestic harmony, I've switched rooms if people wonder why the background's changed. Bryce Samba was the other one I just wanted to talk about. I thought he was looked back to his best today. There wasn't any antics, which is fine, but just in terms of command of his area, reading the play, and obviously that top save from Carvalho as well. They're going to need him.
Yeah, there was a little bit, Matt, wasn't it? He was wasting just enough time.
Late on, he said something to the Fulham fans behind the goal, didn't he? But he wasn't quite like Jordan Pickford diving on the ball for Everton against Liverpool and all. Pickford loves it. But anyway, Samba in general, spot on, wasn't he?
Yeah, that save from the Carvalho shot was unbelievable because I think McKenna kind of blindsided him as well, didn't he? Tried to block it, whizzed past his forehead, and came out the other side. It was going in. Like, make no mistake about it. That ball was flying in, and that was a defining moment in the match. But yeah, he's just got that presence back, hasn't he? He's chest out, and as I said, wasted just enough time without attracting the ref's attention or getting a yellow card or doing anything silly. Yeah, that was Sambury's best today.
What do you make of the ref? There was consternation in the build-up because Keith Stroud's from Bournemouth. You can't be a Bournemouth fan through the EFL. He wouldn't let him referee that game tonight. But Forest fans hate him, and he has been absolutely crap in Forest games previously. But I thought he was all right tonight, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was fine. He added 90 seconds too long, didn't he, for my liking? But we were trying the Billy Davies tactic of trying to walk off the pitch on the substitutions. But yeah, he was fine for good reason. Forest fans think he's a bit card happy, and he's given a few key decisions against us in the past. But yeah, it wasn't about him tonight, was it? It was about us and what we achieved.
So let's look ahead to these last three games then. Forest, they can't take their eyes off Swansea, can they? Because if they lose and Bournemouth win at the weekend, it's not game over because obviously there's the playoffs and it's still in Forest's hands in that sense. But they need to go out and perform against Swansea, don't they, to set up this game against Bournemouth?
Yeah, and look, I do think we'll beat Swansea. What they've invested tonight to go 3-0 up and find themselves pegged back will be demoralising, demotivating. They'll have their mentality questioned. You should close out. You should manage a game 3-0 up, change the shape, change the way you go about things. 2 lines of 5, whatever you need to do. You should not be conceding 3 goals having got into that position. So yeah, what have we got to fear from Swansea at home? Not much if we play to our potential. Eye on Bournemouth as well. I think they have Blackburn this weekend, and then it's on, isn't it? There's so much on that. There's so much on that game. But yeah, Bournemouth fans will be nervous tonight. They'll be looking over their
Forest
shoulder.
Fans of 2 years ago, won't they? They'll
exactly.
See what's happening.
Yeah, exactly. But they'll be nervous. I loved hearing the Fulham fans chant at the weekend about Forest, coming for you. Bournemouth should be slightly concerned because we've closed that gap pretty quickly to get to where we are now.
Yeah, you wouldn't be surprised. Someone driving past my house way too fast. People heard that. You wouldn't be surprised at all if they drop points again to Blackburn, would you? Because Blackburn have got to get a result, I think, unless I don't think they're out of it, are they?
Yeah, not an easy game for Bournemouth. So look, get to that Bournemouth game in striking distance. That's the key. If we both draw, at the weekend, no disaster. And also just remember where we've come from. We said it at the outset tonight. This season started horrendously. It seems to be finishing fantastically well. We've had a brilliant night tonight. Bournemouth are in our sights. Let's not die wondering. Go for it. Pick an attacking team. Do what we do at home. Grind them down and get the result. But there'll be some nervous boys in the Bournemouth camp.
We're just looking at the comments quickly, just because we've got so many people watching, dropping comments in. A couple of people asking about Surridge and strikers and Dale Taylor, and there's a comment here asking us, is it going to show up? Yes. What happens if Surridge gets injured? I mean, this was a topic we discussed on Monday. Dale Taylor travelled down tonight. I know he's an Northern Ireland international, but I mean, I think the move that Cooper made with Brennan going through the middle is the move they would make, because if Graben doesn't come back, because him and Davies have got hamstring problems, which aren't ideal at this stage of a season.
Yeah, so Cooper's method is to get his best 11 players on the pitch. So he'll compromise on positions rather than blooding untested players. So you won't see Dale Taylor, if he is the pick of the 23s, you won't see him start a game this season when he could shift Brennan Johnson to 9, introduce Joe Lolly out wide. Similarly, even if that reshuffle involves bringing in a Cafu or someone else, he'll get his best 11 players on the pitch. He knows you don't blood young players in at this time. I'm not talking down Dale Taylor. I'm actually really excited about him as a talent. He looks very assured, doesn't he, in the 23s games that we've seen. And he's an international footballer, but he's not going to start a game this season.
No, and I assume you would patch up Zinkernagel and send him out on 1.5 legs rather than start Lolly still, would you? Again, not a slight on Lolly, but I just think Zinkernagel looks to be in a touch of form at the moment.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? And you see flashes of Zink and think, yeah, like we should be targeting this fella. And then occasionally you think, have we got an abundance of wealth in that position? Could Joe Lolly shine again if he was given the same opportunity? Back Cooper's judgment because of what he's achieved and what he sees in training. But I'm not so sure on that one. I think if he's 75% fit, maybe he does have Saturday off to let Lolly show what he can do and give him time to recover, because the best of Joe Lolly is game breaking. The best of Zinkernagel is game breaking. We've got to nurse bodies between now and the end of the season. We've got a few walking wounded. Yeah, so I think that's definitely one of his conundrums this week, Matt. What would you do?
I'd send out an 80% fit Zinkernagel just to win the game, and I think I'd look to take him off after an hour if Forest, touch wood, are ahead. I think you're at that stage of the season where you just go with your best, don't you? But the trouble is you've got the playoffs to come. So the worry, I suppose the big worry around injuries, I don't want to tempt fate, but there's a lot of players who are young and athletic who could blow up a hamstring, and you don't want to run them into the ground. And I assume Forest have the athletic department that's sophisticated enough to know when players are close to the red zone, as top clubs call it. I'm sure they're monitoring that, but I don't know. You've got to go for it, haven't you? You've got to go for automatic promotion now. There's no choice. How are your nerves for Saturday or for the next 2 weeks?
Pretty relaxed about Saturday, and I hope that's not complacency, and I'm not tempting fate. I'm touching wood for all those superstitious folk amongst us. But yeah, look, we should be so confident about what we do at home. And look, we're in a lovely position now. Playoffs guaranteed, so we can throw caution to the wind to a point, get these games won. Equally, the big decision, if you 1-0 up after 60 minutes, do we shut up shop, become a bit more defensive rather than chasing the game? Because to this point, we haven't. We've been pretty relentless. We've scored a few goals late on. We've taken advantage of the pace and energy of our attacking players against tired opponents chasing the game. So I'll be like really interested to see that. But yeah, hopefully it's not misguided confidence, but I feel quite relaxed about Swansea's threat at the weekend.
Is goal difference a thing? Thinking about it as well. I mean, Forest goal difference is level with Bournemouth. It could. There's still a scenario where it comes to that as well. So you again, you start trusting up shop at 1-0. That could cost you in a way. There's so many permutations now, aren't there?
Yeah, been there before, worrying about goal difference. Hey, I'll never forget what happened there. Yeah, look, let's be optimistic. I think we've spent all season being a little bit cautious about the steps we need to take to get to this point. But Forest are guaranteed a top 6 finish. It's been a long time coming. Never thought I'd be saying that 6 weeks into the season, and it's time to enjoy these last few weeks. Look, if it comes to it, we're in better shape than we've ever been. We'll be more resilient, have a better game plan, have key players coming back if it is to be the playoffs. But now more than ever, and the bookies odds will bear this out. We've got a really good chance of getting in that top 2.
Right, I think we'll leave it there. I've got to give a shout out to Beck because there's someone in the comments who's put about 4 things in asking for a shout out to my brother Beck. So there you go. Not had that before, but hopefully that makes his day. Apparently it will, so that's good. Right, thanks to everyone who watched along. Loads of people watching along at 11:15 on Tuesday night and dropping those comments in, which is great. Temps, thanks for joining me as ever.
Pleasure, Matt.
We'll be back on Monday. It's a bank holiday. We'll be back on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday next week to discuss Forest moving one step closer, hopefully, towards automatic promotion, but it's going to be tense along the way. So thanks for joining us, and we shall see you soon.